Welcome to the Africa edition of The World Today. I am Amarachi Ubani. Let's begin the program today here in the United Kingdom. We're worried about the spate of terror attacks in Nigeria. The UK is hosting a meeting on the sidelines of the Global Summit on Ending Sexual Violence, but this time focusing on the security situation in the northeast and how to tackle Boko Haram militants. Since Boko Haram abducted more than 200 girls in April, foreign help has been offered to help end the insurgency. Nigeria's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Aminu Wale, is attending the high-level gathering organized by his UK counterpart, William Hague, as well as last month's meeting in Paris, where regional powers pledged to share intelligence and coordinate action against the group and its 5-year insurgency. Boko Haram has waged an increasingly bloody insurgency since 2009 in an attempt to create an Islamic State in Nigeria. Thousands of people have died from the attacks and subsequent security crackdown. Now to that meeting on ending sexual violence, Hollywood actress and UN Special Envoy Angelina Jolie says governments will be held to account over ending sexual violence in war zones. Ms. Jolie says a new protocol represents the beginning of the fight against the practice. She was saying this alongside UK Foreign Secretary William Hague at the End Sexual Violence in Conflict conference in London. Mr. Hague added that progress had been made on what was once a taboo subject.
British Foreign Secretary William Hague launched an international protocol on how to document and investigate sexual violence in conflict alongside Hollywood actress Angelina Jolie on Wednesday.
The Preventing Sexual Violence initiative may well never have come about, and this summit would probably never have happened. So it's very appropriate that you're going to watch this here tonight. In the land of blood and honey, this film is what led to Angelina Jolie and me beginning our campaign together to end impunity for war zone rape worldwide.
The pair are co-chairing the summit at the Excel Conference Centre in London's Docklands, which runs until June 13. Up to 1,200 government ministers, military and judicial officials and activists from about 150 nations are attending the 4-day conference, which is a call for action to protect women, children and men from rape and sex attacks in war zones.
The courage of survivors and activists must now be matched by the determination of governments. And that is why this summit aims to galvanize the international community into action. And it's why the United Kingdom will do its utmost.
Angelina Jolie, who is also Special Envoy for the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, said that impunity for sexual crimes in conflict zones is an intolerable situation and called for justice for victims.
We all know how hard it is to secure convictions for rape even in stable democratic countries. So we have to work even harder to make justice possible in fragile countries. And that is the purpose of this protocol.
Jolie's involvement in humanitarian issues dates back to 2001 when she traveled to Sierra Leone as a UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador and saw the impact of years of civil war when an estimated 60,000 women were raped.
So let us now make sure that
Hague became involved in Jolie's campaign against sexual violence in war zones after being alerted to the issue following the actress's 2011 directorial debut In the Land of Blood and Honey that was set against the backdrop of the 1992 to 1995 Bosnian War, in which more than 100,000 people were killed and an estimated 20,000 women believed raped. Last year, the unusual partnership led to the launch of a declaration now signed by about 150 countries pledging to end impunity and provide justice and safety for victims. But Hague said the summit would take this further.
The West Africa Commission on Drugs has recommended that low-level drug offenses should be decriminalized in West Africa. The high-level report says drug cartels are undermining the region by using it to transit cocaine. The commission, headed by former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, says the cartels should be tackled, but that punishing the personal use of drugs does not work. It argues that current policies incite corruption and provoke violence. Drug trafficking and consumption have become major issues in West Africa since the turn of the century. Efforts around this time to stem the flow of cocaine from the producing countries of Latin America to consumers in the US and Europe led criminals to target West Africa as a new route. Dramatic events like the crash landing of a Boeing 727 full of cocaine in Mali in 2009 have alerted the authorities to the problem. The new report, commissioned by former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, estimates that the annual trade in cocaine alone through West Africa is now worth $1.25 billion. That's more than the total of foreign direct investment in the region. A suicide attack on a UN base in northern Mali has killed 4 peacekeepers from Chad. UN officials died when a car packed with explosives was crashed into the entrance of a military base in the town of Aguelok. Aguelok is 100 kilometers north of Kidal, which rebels last month seized from Mali's army. Both ethnic Tuareg separatist rebels and al-Qaeda-linked militants remain active in the north of the country. Troops from France and Mali's neighbors such as Chad last year recaptured the region's main towns from the Islamist militants. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said the latest attack would not diminish the resolve of the organization to support Mali. After last month's fighting in Kidal, 3 Tuareg rebel groups agreed to a ceasefire with the Malian government. We're headed south now. South African police have arrested a man that they found, strangely enough, using a knife and a fork to eat the heart of his ex-girlfriend's new lover. The 62-year-old victim had been stabbed in his chest and neck and had a bite mark on his face. The suspect, a Zimbabwean national, was found in the Huhuletu township near Cape Town. He's due to be formally charged to court later today or tomorrow. Western Cape Deputy Police Commissioner Sharon Jefter said police officers and witnesses had been offered counseling to cope with the trauma. And back here in Nigeria, for the second time in 2 days, the president has urged politicians to tread with caution ahead of the 2015 elections, insisting that his political ambition is not worth the blood of any Nigerian citizen. President Goodluck Jonathan said this at the All Political Parties Summit, which held in the nation's capital, Abuja, where he described as uncalled for the tension being created in the country over the 2015 elections. He decried what he termed the discordant tunes emanating from politicians, especially over the insurgency in the country, and asked them to join hands with the federal government to tackle the security challenge. When we come back after the break on The World Today, a vote in Iraq over a state of emergency is delayed by Parliament because not enough members participated. Please join us again.